So what you want to talk about?
We ain't doing that shit no more.
Yes, we are.
No, that's cut. Been cut.
Nuh-uh.
Let's get into it.
That's my whole thing.
Oh, is it?
That's my whole shtick. Seriously?
Well, I guess we'll talk about that.
That's my whole thing. So that's cut, really?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Get on my nerves.
You like it?
No. I want you guys to see my shirt. It's on the Ensorsale page. It's on our Ensorsale website. Good vibes only. Going into the new year. Yeah.
So what's up, babe? What you got?
So, on our last podcast or episode, we talked about, like, I feel like we talked about us getting married and stuff. So I was going to elaborate a little bit more on us getting married and, like, basically shopping on a budget. Or doing wedding on a budget.
Yeah,
How
so in the last episode we talked about nutrition and health, getting prepared for a wedding, right?
Yes.
So you're saying you want to talk about how we were able to have a wedding and a reception on a budget?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like that would be a good topic.
All right. Babe!
What? Are we cutting this?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be edited, but...
Oh, I thought we were trying not to cut. Let's start over.
No,
I feel awkward.
You are awkward in general, but...
Like, I hear birds now. Like, I'm thinking of other stuff. Like, I'm distracted right now.
But, yeah, so what finally made you decide you wanted to marry me, I guess? Because it's been damn near 13 years, and all of a sudden you decide, oh, let's get married, babe.
Well, first of all, if I would have known, like, everybody and their brother decided they wanted to get married in 2022, like, I probably would have waited again longer. Because I was like, oh, okay, like, I can do this. Like, let's get married.
I didn't get any wedding announcements, so we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. You mean you're getting married too? Damn.
Yeah, then everybody started popping out the woodwork getting married. So I was like, well, now that's not our thing anymore. It's everybody else's thing. So I was like, oh, well, maybe, like, us getting married on a Thursday, like, that was definitely our thing. Because I don't know anybody else who got married during the week at all. Do you?
No, I mean, the idea was, oh, it's a 3-day holiday weekend. We'll let everybody take 1-day vacation and have a 4-day vacation at the beach. Like, we thought this was genius.
Right, to save people money,
like,
too.
Because it's usually 70 degrees here, in November.
Well, mind you that apparently this year, like, a lot of schools, like, especially like in the Raleigh area, even here, like, they were off like a day or two leading up to it. So they actually had like Tuesday, it was a half day, Wednesday they were off, Thursday they were off, Friday they were off. It was kind of weird.
Right.
Because that's never been the case. Like, when we were in school, we only had Veterans Day off. We went back to school the next day. Like, wow. We didn't have that many days off, but maybe like since the whole virtual thing is a thing, like, maybe they just did more virtual. Like, they're like, oh, we'll do this homework. Like, it still counts as you going to school or something. But yeah, so like that was the first way. Like, we thought we weren't like prioritizing our guests, but we like that wasn't like the main priority. Was like, let's see who could come or make sure everybody could come, because obviously we did it on a Thursday, so that was definitely not a priority for us. Like, we wanted people there, but you know what I mean. Like, we understood
everyone we invited. Those are the people we wanted to be there. Correct.
But we understood, like, if they couldn't make it, because we did do it on a Thursday. Right. Like, we understood. And it was, like, in the middle of the day. It was, like, 2 o'clock. But, like, this area is pretty...
But the original idea was that you'd basically get a 4-day weekend at the beach for our wedding. Instead of, you know, most of the time you go somewhere and it's just the wedding and then the next day you got to go home.
You go home, yeah.
You never really got to explore the area where the wedding was at. Like,
which is what we wanted that people to be able to do that.
Right.
Well,
that's kind of the idea.
Yeah, for sure.
At least in my case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course, yeah, and we're like a destination area, so like we definitely wanted people to be able to explore and like have fun in the area. Also, we did it on a Thursday too because, you know, hotel prices are a lot lower during the week than they are on the weekend. This is the off season right now, so like our rates for the off season are
half the price.
You know, half the price. Not probably like even more than that, discounted. Hotels around here in the summer go for $250, $300 a night, and people were able to get $100 rooms in the off season here. So suites too. So that was important to us. Like, also this area doesn't get a lot of business in the off season.
Even though it's still beautiful.
Yeah, even though it's still beautiful. Like the weekend before our wedding, it was gorgeous. Like 75 degrees, like sunny.
We were literally walking the beach on Sunday
in November.
The week before our wedding.
Yeah. It just so happened like there was a hurricane coming. So like the week of ours, like we've been here 7 years, and how many hurricanes have affected us in November here?
None.
So I'm thinking like, oh, we got this. This is great. And then people started hitting me up like, you know, there's a hurricane coming. Like, I don't, you know, people in the hospitality industry, like, they're like, you know, we invited, and I was like, you know, there's a hurricane, like, I probably can't come, like, so, you know, some of my coworkers and like bosses from the past couldn't come because they obviously had to stay at their hotel and like man it down, but whatever. But at the same time, like, we weren't expecting a hurricane. Like, we were out, like, our wedding was outside on the water. Like, there was no backup. There was not. Like, I started kind of, not freaking out, but, like, you know, that was in the back of my mind. Like, I don't think I was freaking out. Because I knew we were getting married outside.
Yep.
Like, and I think, you know, having a supportive partner, a.k.a. you were like, we're doing whatever, like, it doesn't matter. If it's raining, like, people can have an umbrella. Like, so then I was like, oh, well, shoot, like, maybe I need to get us some umbrellas. So I ordered us some clear umbrellas on Amazon. They broke. Like, one of them broke. So I'm glad we didn't have to use them because we took them back. Like, that's another thing. You're trying to do a budget, get your stuff from Amazon. And if you don't use it, like, some of the stuff, like, if you didn't use, send it back. Like, but at least you have it there to like, in case you need it. But if you don't use it, send it back. Like,
no,
that's budget tip. I'm just throwing them in there. Like, this isn't me being like, number 1, do this. Number 2, I'm just throwing in the budget tips like randomly. Like, that's a budget tip right there. So to have a supportive partner, he was like, we're doing it outside. So no matter what, like, these people can bring umbrellas. If they want to watch from the balcony of the hotel, they can. They don't have to sit out there. Like, it's going to be me and you up there. If that's it, if that's what it is, that's what it is. Okay, great. Like, so I didn't have to like stress about it, but that is an extra cost if you think about it when you are doing your own wedding. Like, if you're outside, like, you need to negotiate in your package or your wedding. Like, if you're doing it with somebody or through a company or a hotel, like, you need to make sure you have a rain backup. Like, if you're actually doing it through a company, and negotiate it in there, because if they don't have a rain backup and it rains, like, you're not going to want your guests to be out in the rain, I'm sure. In our case, we didn't care. Like, our family had been waiting 13 years, and our friends, 13 years for us to get married. So I'm pretty sure they would have been through a monsoon. They would have had a kayak. They would have been prepared to see us.
It's like, you noticed in all the speeches and all the cards, it was like, finally.
Yeah. I kept some of my favorite cards. We'll have to like see if we can post them or something because they're funny. Like, shout out Becca and Cody. Their card was the best card, and I'll have to just like drop that in there, or, like put in the comment. But it was, that's like one of the tips that I would say.
Is use things from Amazon
yes.
that you may or may not need, and if you don't need them, you just send them back.
Right. And also, like, I've been getting a lot of ads, and I haven't done this, so maybe it's something you want to look into, and I'm not shouting Amazon out by any means, but now, like, they're pushing, like, advertising products on Amazon, so, like, you can get paid for it, so, like, that's also, like, a budget tip. So if you want to, like, let's say you have this really great product you ordered, like, we had this amazing, we didn't order it, our friend Mackenzie and Quinn did, but this amazing backdrop, like, for our pictures. It was so cute. We ordered from Amazon. Like, we totally could 100% like do a review.
Do a video review.
Do a video review. Yeah, a video review and submit it to Amazon, and then become like Amazon product reviewers where you get paid
to do that.
To do that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I really want us to look into that. Because, I mean, we get products and stuff from Amazon, but it's not like regularly. We don't, I mean, we order from Amazon, but it's like essential stuff. Like, I order mouthwash or toothpaste. It's not like, we don't really spend money frivolously on like random fun things from Amazon normally. But if we did, like we should be reviewing them. But so that's another tip.
I don't know. I feel like I come home to a new package all the time.
Yeah, but
where you just
I'm just being honest.
Something.
Like, I just ordered a bathing suit and I tried it on and I was like, yeah, I don't want it. I'm gonna send it back. Like, like for people like me, I don't really like going into the stores and trying stuff on. Like, and it's not like I have anxiety. Like, it's just I don't like it. I don't like all the stores are hot. I think it's the stores I go to too. Like, I'm cheap, so I'm going to Ross. I'm going to like Walmart. I'm going to. I don't even go into TJ Maxx because they're a little on the high end.
You'd have a better experience at Louis Vuitton.
Maybe, because I need a fan.
Gucci.
I need a fan. I need like AC. I need some wine. Like, I need some cheese. I need a charcuterie board.
I feel like you had a great time shopping for a wedding dress.
Oh, I did. I actually did a lot. Like, she didn't have wine or charcuterie boards, but I think just her personality and like her willingness to help. We went to Elf on the Shelf in Morehead City, and Adrienne helped us, and she was so great. Because long story short, someone thinking that they could order a dress off of Shein and then not try it on till like 2 weeks before our wedding, like, don't do that either. Like, I'm just throwing that out there. Oh my
God, what was wrong with the Shein dress?
I probably gave my friend Mackenzie a damn near heart attack because this girl, and I feel so bad because she's trying
luckily she's young.
Yeah, I was like, luckily she's young. She got a strong heart. Because I was not planning. I mean, and I am a planner, but I was like, literally like, he's going to marry me no matter what. So I'm not trying to stress over this. I don't have my ring on. 2 weeks, 2 weeks, before I realized like the dress, I had lost like 30 pounds because like the dress was kind of snug already. And I was only focused on that, like the dress being tight. And it did not see, and I overlooked the fact that it was also freaking see-through and it had no support in this area whatsoever. So they were just like this and like this, and they needed to be like this. And they were like all over the place. So, the
biggest thing is that the dress was see-through.
Yeah. And the night before, and it was, I had to get it altered and stuff, and I was just like calling around and nobody was even answering the phone. Like, I'm just going to throw that out there.
So we're literally 2 weeks out from the wedding.
Yes.
The dress is not going to work.
And I find out and I cry. Like, I cried. That's what I did. In the middle of the night, I just started crying. And then Nate was like, it's fine. We're going to fix it. We're going to go tomorrow. So we did. We go tomorrow. Fast forward. But we go the next day. And I had done a sales call back when I worked at another hotel, to that place just for my business. And I was like, I had such a great encounter with this lady before, so let me go to this place. This was 5 years ago, so that I went and met her just to talk. And she jumped on it. Like, she did not, I was like, she did not criticize me for waiting 2 weeks prior. She was like, let me help you. And I told her all my stipulations. Like, so here's my thing. How you gonna walk in, for me, this is me reflecting on me. How you gonna walk into a store, be like, I want this, and this, and then expect that all to be there? Like, how do you do that as a person?
You did it.
I did it, and she had it. And I was like, shocked. Like, I'm
sure she's been through worse brides, so.
I thought, yeah. She literally said, you're like the chillest person. Like, how do you do this? Like, you know, and she's the one that even mentioned like the hurricane. And she was like, you have no facial expression. I was like, look, we get married out there no matter what. It is what it is. Hurricane, not hurricane, wind, hail, storm, pirate attack. We get married out there. So, anyways. And
so yeah, don't do what she did.
Yeah, don't do that, because I was trying to save money. Like, that was the thing. I bought the dress for $35 off of Shein. So don't try to save money. I mean, try to save money on, if
the Shein dress had worked, you know.
Yeah, but like, I guess be realistic with it. Maybe have different, and no offense, I love you so much, but have different people, if you want that, around you when you try it on, so they can tell you like what's wrong with it. All Nate saw, like when he saw me put it on, was, oh, it's so pretty, like you're so gorgeous, like all the positive things. I need somebody like a little negative to be like, yeah, you could probably see through that, like to point it out, like that you could see through it. Because we didn't
know you could see through it because the dress didn't zip at
That's
the time.
true. That's true too.
Right? Mm-hmm. All we knew is that it could kind of go on you.
Yeah.
So we didn't know until the dress could zip
that it was see-through.
That it was completely see-through.
And how
that your titties didn't look right in it.
I was devastated.
You know.
I was devastated. But this lady, her name is Adrienne, like I said, amazing woman. Like, I don't know if I was like just sent to her 5 years ago for a reason, because she jumped on it.
This is a business tip for anyone that's in business. You never know what encounter is going to get you to business later.
True life.
Like, if you hadn't had that encounter 5 years ago, you wouldn't even have thought of her shop.
No.
Right? And because of how she treated you 5 years ago, you came there.
Yeah, just because of our interaction 5 years ago. She's the very first place that I thought of.
So a lot of business owners, they think about, you know, immediate ROI, especially in advertising, right? Like, oh, they want to do an advertisement and see $60,000 come in that weekend from that advertisement that week, where it may be 5 years, 10 years from now when you get the return on that advertisement, right?
100%. Yep.
And that's basically the case here. Like, you saw that, you know, she was running a great shop and a great program, and
I liked her.
And you liked her specifically, like her personality, how it, you know, meshed with yours. Like, you saw that she was a let's get it done type person.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she wasn't like, oh, we can't do that. Oh, we can't do this. Like, you'll go into some shops like, oh, I could never do that. Like, well, this entrepreneur would find a way to get it done for you.
And she did. Like, that's what I'm saying. So, like, when I don't want to jump around, but I'm going to. When I found the dress, when I actually found the dress, I said, can we get this altered? Because, like, it needed to be, like, brought up. The back, that was too long. Like, this area, like, I needed, like, more support in this area. As well, and she got it done. Like, she sewed in support. She had it sent out to someone. They sewed it in, brought the dress up perfectly, and then, like, that was the only alterations that I needed, and she got that done in under 5 days. Like, that's
and for under $500.
Yes, my dress. That was the most expensive thing. My dress and getting the alterations. And we also added like a little bedazzle thing to it that she kind of sewed in on the side. She did that for free. It ended up popping off when Nate took me through the door, so I didn't wear it when he crossed me over the threshold into our house. So I didn't wear it to our reception, but I did wear it to our wedding day, and it was beautiful.
It's in the pictures. Yeah.
It's in the pictures.
That's
but yeah, so like she got it done. Like there was no question. And also like, so I was in between sizes. So that dress I tried on, she's like, you'd be more comfortable in this size. So she actually had to order the higher dress, the bigger dress. Then come to find out when I go to try it on, it's too big because I lost another like 7 pounds, and I had to go back to the original dress.
Yep.
And it was still perfect. So like all of these factors, she still got it done for me in under 2 weeks. And that's like amazing to me. But yeah, I gave her all these stipulations on what kind of dress I wanted. And literally the first dress she pulls out like is the dress that I ended up going with. But I knew like in the back of my mind, like this was my dress. And I tried on all the other 4 dresses, and like that I was like, just to make sure, like I was like, that's not working. And the very first dress that we both picked out is the last dress that I tried on was my dress. I loved it. It was, and to me as a bride too, I didn't care. Like, I didn't have an entourage. Like, I didn't have, like, my friends go with me, my family, my sisters. Like, I literally was, like, in my mind, the only person that mattered to me was Nate. So, I was like, she's like, do you want him to see you in this dress? I was like, yup. Because he's the only one that matters is me and him. And she's like, oh, wow, okay. Like, because that's not normal either. So, like, Nate's making himself comfortable on this big lazy boy couch. And I walk out and he's just like, what? You tell me.
Beautiful. Just gorgeous. Like,
yeah. And you're the
number one, living at the beach, you don't necessarily dress up all the time.
I don't.
Right? So
clearly too, like, yeah.
When you live in paradise, you kind of stay in paradise gear, a lot.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, when was the last time you saw me dressed up?
In a dress like that? Never.
Well, bridesmaid dress.
Bridesmaid dresses, but this one was actually like a lot better.
Yeah.
I would say. Like
well, it was a white.
Bridesmaid dresses are they usually pick one color, but that color is not necessarily the color that matches your skin or.
Oh yeah, no. And that's I didn't want that either.
Accentuates, what looks good on you. Bridesmaid dresses are really, to me, are there to make the bride look good, right? Oh, insert.
I saw this thing about the reason why they're bridesmaids, like it's like an old folk tale or whatever, is that it's to distract the evil spirits from finding the bride. So they all wear the same color and the same dress so that the evil spirits can... if they're to avoid them latching onto the bride.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I said, oh, shoot. I don't know how true that is. I don't know what culture it was. But I was like, that's a very interesting. I didn't have none of that. So I had the evil spirits are already warded off from us. So years ago. We got a circle of people protecting us. So
your number 2 thing is get your dress last minute.
No.
Don't do that. Choose it early. Make sure it's the right thing. Make sure it's gonna fit.
Right, but for me and like knowing myself, I knew I could not get I couldn't get my dress a year in advance or even 6 months in advance because my weight fluctuates so much that I've had bad experiences where I've been people's bridesmaids and I got a dress and I went under thinking. It's like I'm in between sizes already, like naturally skinny, big, mid-size. Like I'm always in between a size. So I didn't go up.
Curves, right?
Yeah.
And it seems that a lot of dresses are not made for curvy people.
No.
Right. Which women's clothing is a lot harder than men's clothing anyway. Because women are just shaped different.
All different size, like all different types. So like I've had experiences where I'm gonna insert my friend Danielle. I was in her wedding, loved it. Nate still says that's the best wedding he's ever been to, because of the bread bowls and they just kept feeding him. I think your wedding was gorgeous,
because
but
it was
I'm
beautiful. It was simple.
Yes. Anyways, I had a dress, and I liked how she did hers because she let us pick whatever style we wanted. She was just like, this is the color. Cool. I love that. Thank you so much for doing that. But I bought one dress and I was in love with this dress. I got it for, cheap from David's Bridal, for like $75. And the week before her wedding, guess what? The dress doesn't fit. So I'm freaking out. I had to go buy a whole nother dress for $150 more because it was last minute. So now I have two dresses for a lot. And I just knew that wasn't going to be for me. Like, I had to go close. I tried to buy it in advance because I bought the Shein dress in April and we got married in November and it didn't work out. Like, I try to do that every time, but I know myself and I knew that wasn't going to work. So anyways, know who you are first. Like, if you're the same size for 30 years or 20 years, great. Like, power to you. You're so lucky. Like, so grateful. Like, I wish I could do that. When you start with a bigger size, that's what I'm saying. I had lost weight. Like, I was actively already in the process of trying to lose weight before our wedding. Like, before we even established a wedding. So anyways, yeah.
So let's talk about location, right? Venues. It seems that venues are very, very expensive right now, right?
And they're popping up everywhere too.
So what do you think is the key to finding an inexpensive venue?
Well, in my case, networking.
Okay.
So, and like knowing the area. So I knew I was getting married here. I've lived here 7-8 years. So I knew of who could help me with different things.
Right.
Because I know the location. So like, destination weddings are great for but at the same time, you don't know. You have to trust. Yes. And you have to trust whoever you're hiring, because you have to hire someone when you do a destination wedding. If you're doing the full destination thing, you have to hire somebody to set all that up for you and trust that they can do that for you. Like, so you don't know the area, so you don't know how much things cost typically. They could sell you a beautiful, get your dress here, like, we'll have it ready for you, just send your measurements over. Like, I've heard that as a thing. And it's like, that dress could cost literally $10, but they're selling it to you for like $3,000, $4,000. But you don't know that that's not a normal thing because you don't live there. Something like, something like that. And you don't know the shopping in that area. So for me, it was networking. I had worked for the city before, lived here. I knew that they had venues that they rent to their residents and non-residents, obviously. But I knew that they had a discount for resident pricing. And I was like, I always wanted to get married on the water, not necessarily the beach. I didn't want to walk down there and be sandy and, I didn't want to be barefoot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want that. So, and I know it would be difficult to set up and like have guests walk down there, and that's not my thing. I knew I wanted to be at the water. And so what happened was, we thought we were just going to go elope at the courthouse. So Nate just drove us past there, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what image I had in my brain, like, cause I've been to the courthouse. It's literally 5 minutes from our house.
Right.
But go ahead.
There's no go ahead.
Oh, but there's no water. So you can't see the water. You can't see anything. Like, they say that you can get married outside. Cool. But you can't see it. Like, it's a little gazebo, and then in front of the gazebo has a no smoking sign. I'm like, yeah, it's beautiful for a lot of people. I love it. I love that for people that want to get married there. Like, it is one of the better spots our courthouse is probably one of the better courthouses in North Carolina. Right. Like for its location and proximity and the fact that they will let you do all that, because there are some places that you sign outside a glass window.
Oh.
And you don't leave. Like that's it. Like nobody it's not like a fun, cute experience. So, but I just knew that wasn't for me. So Nate took us around, and he also, knows the town very well because he has to drive around it for work. And he took me to all these other places like on the water, and we just decided, our family is going to stay at this particular hotel right on the water. So why not just do it right across the street? And we love that. Like we've danced in that pavilion, the green grass for festivals, and we're very familiar with it. So we're like, this does have some meaning to both of us. Like, let's just do this. But for me, networking. So knowing that was an option to get married.
So most people don't even know that you can rent a park.
Right. It was 20, I think their prices are different. It was $25 for us to rent that park.
Right. So compared to $1,000 venue, you could not get a better location than right on the water.
In downtown Morehead City.
In a park.
In a park.
Right.
So it's knowing the area, doing the research, knowing the right people to connect with. And then when I had a freak out, I said I didn't, but when I had a slight thought that maybe we weren't going to be able to do this outside, I knew the person personally that was helping me with this. Shout out Victoria, thank you. She was like, well, look, you can do it at the gym. We got that little space at the Rexon Park. That's also near the water, but I'm sure from that, actually, you know what? I don't really know if you could see the water from that room or not.
Probably.
No, I think you probably could. And, she was there being like, look, we can do this as a backup. Just let me know. So making the connections, networking, knowing your area, that saves you a lot of money. A lot, I think.
For sure. Networking is definitely important in everything you do.
Mm-hmm. So.
But I was just specifically thinking about, parks are a good consideration because usually parks are in, they try to put parks in areas where, people want to build to protect the environment areas. That's really what the reasons for parks really was, right? So normally these parks are in great areas. Mm-hmm. So to get married in the park, it's a beautiful scenery. It's beautiful scenery for cheaper, basically. Right.
And you just have to know, your city has that option available to you. Your city or your county, wherever you live, in North Carolina at least, that is an option. And I wouldn't have known that unless I worked for Rexon Park in Greenville. And I had to rent those, talk to people about renting those spaces out. Right. And our friends, had their baby showers there in Greenville, and that was my first experience. I didn't actually rent the park there, but I was obviously asking questions about it. How much was this? And it's very affordable to do. And you don't have to worry about the cleanup. You go in, you set your own stuff up. They usually have the chairs for you. If you rent an actual space inside, they usually have all that for you. Tables. If you need extra stuff, obviously you bring your own stuff. But that's it. And they give you a trash can, so you throw it away at the end, all your stuff, and then you leave. And you don't have to worry about having everybody at your house. You don't have to have, clean up your house or prepare your house for people, because you literally just paid and rented this space for $25 or $50, whatever. That's pretty cool. So I wouldn't have even known that was an option to me if I didn't also work for an area that, sold that and promoted that.
Right.
So letting free tip for you is look into that. Look into what your county and your city has to offer as far as event spaces, parks, shelters, etc. Because it's a lot less of a hassle to, go there and have it ready than it is to clean your whole house and do it at your house. I think. And then when it's time to go, no, there's no lingering people. If they want to stay at the park, they can. Like, you don't have to rush them out, but you don't have to stay. So right. I like that option too. And then also, like, for our area, I know it's different for bigger cities. Like, we were gonna have people stand. My family kind of talked me out of that by saying, like, we should rent some chairs. Shout out to Savannah for helping me set that up and paying for that. It was awesome. But like, I know in bigger cities, like, you probably can negotiate stuff like that. Like, there's probably 12, 15 different places you can go get chairs from. So you could call around and negotiate and figure out who's the best option for you. But for us, there's one company, and I knew chairs weren't important to me. Like, I love everybody who came, but like, honestly, I in that moment of walking down the aisle, I didn't even know who was there. Right. Until I kissed my man and we walked back. Like, that was it, because I just,
it was time to take pictures.
And yeah, I didn't know who was there at all. I just knew all 60 chairs were basically full. There was like one empty chair because one person didn't show up last minute. That was it. Like, so all the chairs were full. I got the cheapest chair, which was a black fold-up chair or whatever. What are those chairs? Do you know what those chairs are called?
Fold-up chairs?
Yeah. Black fold-up chairs. That cost $70. Less than $70. And I could have paid a fee to get them delivered, but that day in particular, they weren't doing deliveries because they already had another huge event that they were doing a delivery for. So shout out to Quinn and Mike for picking up the chairs. Like, that was, and taking them down, like, because that's an expense that we save too by having our friends so willingly be able to use their vehicles and their trucks to get my chairs and bring them
to
help us. Like, so that's an expense that we had to save, that we got to save on.
Good friends is always important.
Good friends, yes. And you know what? Like, and it wasn't like and don't expect them to do it. That's the thing. Like, oh, I made a good friend, like, they have to do that. No, they didn't have to.
Still out of the kindness of their heart.
They did out of the kindness of their heart, and that was one of the best gifts that anybody could
got.
Yeah,
for sure.
Is having good friends willing to jump in and help you make your day a successful day. But that was an expense that we didn't have to pay for, you know, because our friends helped us out. So we really appreciate it. We didn't have decorations. There was nothing decorated. We had our own business, and we had an AV business in the past. So we used all of our AV equipment, because what was important to me was that people hear us and hear the message that we had. I've been to weddings where I couldn't hear nothing.
Yep.
I couldn't hear anything. I'm sitting here and I still cry because I could see the bride and groom crying, but I couldn't hear nothing they were saying. And it was important to me that everybody knew the words that were coming out of my mouth and yours.
Yeah, Meredith needs closed captioning for most weddings.
Yeah. Look, we're supposed to...
She needs a little word sitting there at the bottom of the screen.
Look, y'all are supposed to be hearing impaired friendly. So, I wanted everybody to hear, and then I think it made it really changed the whole vibe. The whole like vibe too, because, you know, we went to Christmas with your family and they talked about how great Andy's speech was and how like beautiful he delivered the words that he prepared.
I definitely think it was a step up to have someone that actually knows you personally for many, many years.
Your whole life.
You know, my whole life, but you many years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that could, you know, basically marry you. I think that's one of the best decisions. You definitely decided that for us, for sure. Like, and that was one of the best decisions we made as far as the reception, for sure. Or not the reception, the wedding part.
Yeah, the ceremony.
It's choosing who marries you. Like, that's very important.
Yes. You don't think it is, but I was sitting here like, in my brain, in my mind, yes, we could have asked somebody random. We could have went to the courthouse and have somebody random. I could have did a quick Google search, and, you know, they're not that expensive probably to pay somebody, but that's an extra expense too, to pay somebody to marry you. most of the time, and just throwing this in here, most of the time they want to meet with you. So that's your time you're spending too. They want to meet with you weeks and weeks and weeks before your wedding, and then like meet monthly to like talk about how, you know, you want your wedding to be delivered. So like they have to come up with their own notes. Like you're paying for that time. Like you're paying your time and you're paying your money to someone to do that. And like most of the time you're handing them what you want them to say. Like, so you're having to come up with it. We did not do that. I wanted someone that knew us already. I didn't want to be, cause you know, like, this is not a bash on people who did this, because to each his own. Like not everybody has a family member or a friend that's good at public speaking
or willing to marry them,
marry them, you know. So that's a big responsibility that, you know, Nate's brother Andy took on, like, and I really appreciate it. So not everybody has that option, but I literally said, Andy, I don't want, what is that? Love is great, love is kind. That's no. How does it go?
I don't know.
You read the Bible?
I don't read.
Love is something. Love is kind. Love is patient.
Yeah, the love is patient, love is kind, all that kind of stuff.
I said that was my only feedback to him. I was like, I do not want that in my wedding, because I know I am not patient, and sometimes I'm not kind, and that's in everybody's wedding. So that's generic. And he's like, I got you. Like, we're not. He's like, I wasn't even thinking of that. And I was like, perfect. Like, we were on the same page. That was
I would say that real love is enduring. Right? It's there no matter what. That's what I would say. Instead of the patient, the kind, like.
Well, that's from your Bible, our Bible, so.
But that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Take it up with God. Whoever wrote that. Who wrote that, Ruth? Do we know who did?
I'm not a theologian.
Well, I'll have to ask Angelo. Anyways, because I know he'll know. Let me take a little note real quick to make sure to ask him. But
anyway, back to the point of the video.
The point of the video is that it made it more special. He put personalized stories in there. I was absolutely in shock about how amazing he did as someone who's never married anyone before. And just in general, like, he acted like he has married 500 people. I mean, he's probably been to 500 weddings, but he acted like he had married people before.
He has a strong network as well.
Yeah, he does.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. So, but like I was saying, like that, all that was natural. Like, no, he did not plan. I did not give him stuff to talk about. So that saved me time. That saved me money, because like I said, I would have had to pay somebody to do it. So, and I also like personally wanted some, I didn't want someone to random marry us, because like, I wanted the person who married us and been involved in our wedding and stuff, I want them to, in 20 years when we have kids and we're showing them our albums, like, I don't want them to be like, who is that?
Right.
And I'm like,
never seen them before.
I don't know.
Never talked to them.
Never talked to them again. Like, I wanted the people I knew that were going to be in our lives forever. Like, I can't cut Andy. I can't. He's always going to be Nate's brother. I love him too, so I would never cut him. He'd have to really, no, he could. I don't even know what level he would have to do for me to cut him off, because he's always, it's just Andy. I love Andy. He's going to be there forever. Just like my sisters who signed the certificate. Like, even though they piss me off sometimes.
That was very special too, is having all of your siblings on the wedding, the marriage certificate.
Yes.
Right. That was very important to me.
Yes. And me too.
You know, so.
Because they didn't marry us. I wanted them to be involved somehow. So they signed it.
Because Ensorsale is family, right? We all rise up from humble beginnings because of the messages on the t-shirts, right?
I like how you inserted that. I love it.
Right? So.
Yes, rise up. Get your family in your life. Buy some Ensorsale t-shirts.
You know, Ensorsale's family, you start with your real family. We obviously hope that you become part of the Ensorsale family by getting one of our t-shirts so you can inspire others and rise up as well. So
from the ashes and be a phoenix, an Ensorsale phoenix.
Well, you gotta die first to be a phoenix. So we don't want that. But good try.
I was trying.
You just wanted to incorporate the red, the beautiful red.
No, I wanted to Ensorsale. Now the design I want is Ensorsale phoenix.
You
can rise up.
Meredith Dillon is done.
It's
Meredith Johnson now.
You can. True life. You could die. You could die spiritually and then be reborn into something bigger. That's the phoenix I'm talking about. I'm talking about a spiritual.
We're all family. We're all in this together. Like I ball, you ball.
Don't physically die. Don't physically die.
Spiritually die.
Spiritually die and be reborn.
That person is done.
Yes. Well, I'm technically still married to Dylan right now, but on paper. And so we come back from our trip. And then I'll go through that and change it. I'm really dreading that, but anyways, just the process. But anyways, so
Ensorsale.com.
Yes, we've covered that. So I had no decorations, like I said, no decorations at the wedding except the chairs. The decorations was the beautiful scenic view of the water, the boats, and one guy even honked. Didn't have to pay for that. There was no fireworks or whatever. You know how people do fireworks or buy little poppers. We didn't have to do none of that because someone from the boat that was out there honked when we kissed. It was so cute. It was so cute. Do you remember that? Where they go, I'm gonna have to write this down for you because I know you're gonna remember stuff. I swore I was gonna write everything down afterwards. But I haven't yet, about journaling it, and I just haven't. I need to because it's been almost 2 months. So,
so we got get the dress last minute,
or
rent the part,
or try to get your dress cheap.
Get cheap chairs. Use equipment that you already have.
Oh yeah, AV. That's what I was saying. Yeah, so they could hear us. We already talked about that.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
In depth. So we had our own equipment. We set it up. They set it up the day of.
Network and have great friends to help you.
Network and have great friends. Know your area. You said that already.
All right. So what about the reception?
Oh, so here's another network. So long story short, when Nate and I moved here 7 or 8 years ago, we had our priorities, and our priorities was cheap beer and wings and cheese fries. Not in that particular order, but the priority for me was cheap beer.
Well, we came from Greenville, right? And Greenville had places that had deals every day, right?
Every day.
So you literally could go somewhere and eat and drink
for under $20.
For under $20. And we come down here to the beach, everything is
triple.
Right, yeah, triple because they're, basically selling to tourists, right? And the revenue here is basically seasonal, right? So people are trying to get as much money as they can
in the summer,
in that season, right? So we come down here and we're looking for places, and we finally find one place, and it's got a crap ton of space. It's huge. It's
so and it was different from where we were trying out.
We had tried other places, and you're sitting there. It's almost like when you go into a place in New York and it's really small, but their food is great.
Or okay,
right?
Their food wasn't even
this place. Their food is great, and you had space.
It was perfect. So
I'm sitting here what do I want? I want to see sports on the TV. They had a sports bar.
They gave him
great food. It's cheap.
They gave you a remote control,
or it's reasonably priced. It's not so. You're getting wings for under $1 a piece, whereas you go other places here and you're paying $3 a piece for wings.
They had 50 cent. They started out when we got here with 50 cent wing night,
which was the same or equivalent as where we were at in Greenville.
Yes,
right. So. And it was the taste. Everything on the menu tasted good. No matter what you ordered, it tasted good. The food was still amazing. This is what I love, right?
They loved it, though.
I'm sitting here eating wings, right? And I got, sauce all over my hands. And then they had a sink right out front. I could just go wash my hands.
Yeah, and he did. So once we found this, because we were living on the beach at the time, so we tried most of the beach places and then made our way back into Morehead into the town area. And after trying all these other places and go there, it was 100 times, their food was 100 times better. their service, like at first, was because they didn't know you. They obviously they thought you were a tourist. I mean, so like we didn't really get to know them as well. But then they kept seeing us, so then they started talking to us more. Then they learned, like even to this day, like we walk in and they know like what we want. Like they learned us, they know who we are, they know what we want. Like I never have to go without a drink. Like my drink is always full. I'm always have another beer. Like they just know us now and they know what we like and they give it to us. It's amazing. So they had been shut down since COVID because like they have another location in Cedar Point and they just, you know, invested more time into the place that they owned. They own that one. And they just couldn't find workers here in Morehead. So they had been closed. So that 2 months prior to us getting like setting a date finally of getting married, they open up and I'm like, I want to have our reception here. Like, and I'm not going to tell you like pricings like of what they charge, but it was, because I don't know if they want to do events in the future. I don't want to set a price, but for them, but they gave us a hookup because I think, you know, they knew us. We were there 3 times a week for the most part. Right. But they really did give us a hookup on that. And they had like my favorite person, Tori, she was there being the bartender. She did an amazing job.
So basically you find a local bar to do your reception in, right? And we chose a Thursday, so we chose a day that they weren't necessarily going to be busy.
Right.
So that we could rent out the whole bar.
Correct. Originally we were only supposed to have the downstairs area and they were going to keep the front open. And then, you know, last minute they decided like, we'll just shut it down from 5 to 9 and y'all have the entire place, which ended up being so amazing, like 100 times better than I could ever imagine, because they had a whole area. And this is a perk too. Like we decided we're 30 something, you know, most of our friends have kids. So we weren't going to tell them they can't bring their kids. And obviously we love their kids. Right. So kids were invited, like, so they had more space to like, you know, play. There's a pool table downstairs. There was activities for them to do. Most of the time they were out there helping the owners serve, you know, like, you know, be like little waitresses. It was really great. So like another recommendation, like knowing the network, as part of networking and establishing like a relationship with the places you're going, with the people that own the establishments you're going to. Like that's really important. Like you should know the person serving your food if you go there 3 times a week, even once a week, even once a month. If you have the same person, you should know something about them. For sure. You know what I mean? Like, and we've been like that. I've been like that for all that I can remember. Just establishing a relationship with people. So that's another thing. Like Nate, you pretty much said it. Like we picked a Thursday, middle of the week, you know, in the off season, like.
And it brought business to the local place that we love, that we go to literally 3 times a week. Right. So, to wrap it up, like say, getting married is a huge obstacle as far as price for most people, right? So many people and so many couples go into huge debt to get married. $30,000-$40,000 on a wedding.
Most of the time it's to please other people and not themselves either.
Right, so choose what you want in a wedding. Like we wanted to be on the water, so we found a cheaper way to be on the water. Right, we wanted it where, you know, we could eat the good food that we want, not necessarily catered food that we don't really like that much. Right, so
because a side note, because catering like is fine, but if it sits out too long, like the food is not good. Even if it's under a candle, it's still not good. Like, side note, Riptides, Christy and Jimmy did such a great job.
Like that food was coming out fresh and hot. Like,
and it was getting eaten. Like, there was no crumbs left behind. Like, you know what I'm saying?
See,
So
I
they
felt
were
like that was
circulating.
really cool too, is because they were cooking it as they were going, right? So, like, the food would come out hot. Everybody would go eat it. When it was done, more hot food came out. Whereas, like, if it's being catered and brought, like, everything's already cooked and just being warmed up, right? And so you can tell the taste difference between something that's cooked fresh versus something that is pre-cooked the night before and then heat
it back up, because that's how they normally do it.
Like, so you can tell the difference in that kind of quality of food. That's why we really recommend Riptides in general, because everything there is cooked fresh
and quality.
And it comes out hot and it tastes great.
And the people are great. I mean, that's the food is important, but like,
the food was one of the most important things to me. Meredith just wanted to have a drink in her hand,
and I did. Tori hooked that up.
But to me, you know, the food is what makes a place, right? You know, and then secondary is service and how they treat you and location and all that stuff. But if the food is good, people are going to come, right?
Another way to save money too is that we also, instead of doing like alcohol, like unlimited alcohol, like we did it was called the Johnson Juice punches. She had 4 stations, and like it was Johnson Juice with vodka. That was
probably a deal just for us. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. You know, if you have the good network that could get that, but
yeah, because to me that was it was very
doing
cheap
a punch
versus,
because, you know,
giving people an option to go buy like other, you know, or to put on your tab other things. Like, drinks are expensive, shots are expensive,
and people should really be willing to. If people are really your friends and your family, they should be willing to pay for what they're drinking.
If you can't afford to, if you can't provide that for them,
know, there's no reason to spend $10,000 or $12,000 on alcohol.
Right, because that's easily what we could have spent.
You know, when they can have just as good a time and buy their own beer, like,
or not drink,
you know.
But I mean, hey, I like when I go to a wedding and there's alcohol included. I'm not even going to front, like, but I knew that I wasn't. I'm not in the position.
But there's no reason to go into 19% debt,
so people can drink.
So people could drink at your wedding, like.
Yeah. And it was so great because Jimmy DJ'd, and that saved us a lot of money as well, which was we were very grateful. He did such a great job. So if you know a friend, like, that's another ties into this. If you, with your friends or somebody who is up and coming, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want to be a DJ, they're learning, they've only done one event, or you're their first event. Like, get people that are trying to build their portfolio, you know, to do the specialized things at your wedding. Shout out to our photographer. She gave me a great deal too, because she doesn't do weddings. I mean, she gave me a great deal, and I met her through a friend networking again. Mackenzie's friend. And Mackenzie's my friend. She knew the person who took our pictures. She did a fabulous job, and she normally does real estate photos. Like, this was her first wedding.
Right.
So, and she did amazing. Like, this girl, I've run into her 4 or 5 times.
Never seen her before.
Never seen her before our wedding. Everywhere. But she was popping out of corners like I didn't even know. Like, she just did a fabulous job, and she dealt with my crazy family too, and they all loved her as well. But she normally doesn't do weddings, so I'm sure she gave us a great deal too on that, which we really appreciated. And but find people that are trying to build their portfolio and need the extra work to, you know, skyrocket or pivot them into their success in their industry. I recommend that as well. So, but
like I was saying before, like, most people believe, like, oh, I can't get married because it's going to cost $30,000 or $40,000. Well, we did our entire wedding and reception for under $4,000. And
yeah, that's probably including the stuff that other people bought for us too.
Yeah, and you know,
and which we really appreciate.
Anyone that lives and works in America should be able to save $4,000 in a year's time, right?
To get married.
To get married. So it can be done. It can be an exceptional experience. Meredith wants to do it every year now. She's like, let's just renew our vows every year on November.
No, I said this is the reason why people get married 3 or 4 times, because it's so much fun. And then you like for kind of, and I'll stop talking about it after this, but you kind of forget in the moment things until you think about them later. Like things just happen so quickly. Like I looked up, we started our reception at 5. And the next thing I know, it's 9.
Yep. And
I was like, what? Like, you know, then random people started coming, which was cool because random people were buying me stuff and I was taking it and I was having a great time. Like, I was like, oh, shot? Yeah, yes, please. But, yeah.
What'd your sister say? Another round or something?
Savannah. I love Savannah so much. I gotta tell the story because Savannah never went to like a traditional like 4-year university, or you know she did it the right way where she went to a 2-year school. Yeah, she pays as she's going. And now she's gonna get her bachelor's degree in May. So excited for you. Anyways, she didn't know. I don't think she knew the concept of buying shots, and she was another one. That bill came out. It was near $200. And she was like, wow. She's like, I didn't know this cost that much. We had 25 shots or something. I said, yes. And I was like, but I mean, I wasn't going to stop her because I was drinking them. So I don't know where I was going with this. Oh my gosh. I don't know where I was going with this.
How much fun.
Oh, how much fun I had. So like, I can understand like, so I'm like, now I'm thinking, and it's been an idea for us, like, to celebrate every year, like, and maybe make it like a anniversary / business thing every year where we invite our clients and people that support us to this place and celebrate and just have a great time.
Well, right now our annual meeting is in the Caribbean every year, so if you want to give that up for November, let me know.
We can have a
you can have 2 annual meetings.
2 annual meetings. We can have biannual meetings.
Biannual? I don't know. You can fight that one with the IRS, but lastly, we just want to thank everyone that made our wedding so special. Like, you know, our friends, our family, everyone that was able to come, and people that weren't able to come that were
supportive.
That were still supportive of us. We are so grateful that y'all are all in our lives. And continue to be in our lives.
Don't get yourself cut in 2023 because I don't want to explain to my future children that
who you were
and what you did to get cut. I'm kidding, y'all.
Back to gratefulness.
Back to gratefulness because no, seriously, like a lot of the people that showed up have been in our lives for 15 plus years, and the ones that, you know, were more recent, like our, you know, who we met when we moved here.
Thank you for everyone that spoke kindly of Meredith.
What does that mean? You paid them for that?
At the
you
wedding.
made it sound like you paid them to do that. Did he pay y'all? Because I could have done something better and not paid y'all anything to say nice things about me. But yeah, no, like even the friends we made recently, like y'all feel like we've been, not recently, but within the past 7 or 8 years, y'all feel like y'all are family. Not even feel like family. Y'all are family. Y'all are our family. And we appreciate it too. Like, you guys are the best.
Definitely very thankful for everyone that made it special. So this was how to have a wedding on a budget. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a review if you haven't left a review yet.
If you have questions, drop them down in the comments.
And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.